Hey everyone, welcome back to Golden Papery, and we are going to review, and let me bring this into the view, the budget by Paycheck, which is by the Budget Mom. So I gave you guys a quick kind of recap of what the Budget Mom is in my 2024 planners video, but I'm actually going to do a December budget recap slash closeout now that we are in the first week of January. I was able to basically do a closeout of the month, and I will admit that I did not do this on this budget workbook. So, because this is new and this actually starts in January, I decided to do this on paper with the Budget Mom worksheets. And that's what we're going to go ahead and review today. So, the first thing that I want to show you guys is number one, the setup of the Budget by Paycheck workbook, right? I'm going to link in some of the resources for the Budget Mom in case if you are interested in purchasing this workbook. I actually got this on sale, and I think it was like 40% off during Black Friday, so I got it at a pretty good price. I would say wait to see when they have their sales, or I would also suggest if you are a digital planner person, then I would say just go ahead and roll with that. But I went ahead and set up my January budget, and you guys are going to see in my January closeout video basically what that entails. But this is what it is, right? And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the. Oh, let me clear this video for a little bit. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the first sections of the Budget Mom workbook so that you guys can see why I decided to do this on pen and paper first. But really quick, I mentioned this also in my 2024 planners video, but my top 3 priorities for this year are to pay off my personal vehicle, which is a Jeep Wrangler, and then also pay off the tractor equipment that we have for our property, and then also pay off all of the credit card debt that I have, which honestly is not like insane amount of credit card debt, but I am trying to be more mindful. And my word for this year, I try not to do like New Year's resolutions, but my word for this year is it being intentional. And I am trying to be more intentional with my money and finances, especially because I would like to eventually have financial freedom in our family. So that's something that I have going on. And then this is where I got the sinking fund slash cash envelopes that I'm going to be using for this year. And that is Christmas, which is about 166, 167 a month. A car fund, which is also going to be like $500 for the year. Although I can already see that that's not realistic. And so that may change. Medical fund, which is around 2,000. Beauty fund, 2,400. Clothes, I have $1,000 for the month. Sorry, for the year. Holidays, which consists of like birthdays, Valentine's Day, gifts for teachers, and all of that good stuff. That'll be an $800 fund. And then animals, which consists of like animal feed, for our pigs, chickens, dogs, and supplies here. That includes our cat too. It'll be 2,400 a year. And then I also have a cash envelope fund for my toddler who is going to be $30 a month. So I also have another cash envelope fund, which is not listed here, but you're going to see it in my monthly closeout. And that goes to my husband. He gets a cash envelope as well. And it's around $410 a month. But because that also includes like the truck gas and things like that. So this is the visual so that you can see like how much you're saving already for each cash envelope fund. And then you're going to also do a overview of this yearly spending. Now, I'm going to do a separate video where I show you guys my 2023 finances and what kind of what goes over all of these categories. I obviously did not use the Budget Mom in 2023. But I still always do a yearly annual review. That's kind of like a double connotation, but an annual review of my finances just to kind of get a sense of like where we're actively spending on. Plus, that is also used for our ag exemptions and things like that for our taxes. So let me close this out and let's get into the meat of the actual closeout. So, this is actually backwards, but let me take this off. This is my December monthly calendar. So I'm going to give you guys an overview of what I basically have as bills for the entire month. And let me see if I can zoom out here. Okay. Bring this back over here. So for December, we get a paycheck every single week, which is kind of crazy. And this is the reason why I am not going to be doing weekly budget recaps, but I probably will do like a cash stuffing video so you guys can see that process. But there is a paycheck every single week. So what I did was I added the paycheck and then I highlighted in the different colors, that matches that paycheck. And we're basically going to be reviewing those expenses that coincides with this paycheck. So an example, there's a paycheck here for, and this was the last one, but it's basically 11/30 that I got paid. And then I had my mortgage, tithes, my city credit card, Patreon membership, Apple storage, and then Netflix that comes out for this paycheck up until I get paid for the other paycheck. And then in this paycheck, we have worship artistry, we have national life insurance, and the TDECU credit card. So, what does that mean? And I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit. What this basically means is that I'm going to do a separate worksheet for each single paycheck. And this is the budget by paycheck method that the Budget Mom talks a lot about. And so we're going to go over what that looks like. I'm only going to do the first worksheet so that you guys can see how that works. But then I'm going to show you guys just the closeout for the purpose of this video. But okay. So I have here the paycheck bill tracker for the last month, which is 11/30/23. And so the last day of the month or the previous month is always like my first paycheck of the month. So in this case, my 11/30/23 paycheck is going to pay for my beginning expenses in December. So this is the reason why I have it here. But my income here was 3,602.82 cents. So roughly 3,600. And then I had my mortgage, tithes. I ended up saving that for another paycheck. And then city credit card and Netflix, all the expenses that I had. Now, in this one single paycheck, I was also able to pay myself for my cash envelopes. So in this example, I have groceries, which I gave ourselves 300 for the month, and then animal feed money, which is around 200 for the month. And then I did also start working on my cash envelopes for the goals that I have in 2024. I basically wanted to get a head start, but I also knew that we had some medical expenses that were going to come up. So I didn't have anything here, but I do have some other medical expenses in the following weeks. And then I also knew that we were going to Mexico for Christmas. So I was also going to use part of the money for these next pay periods to also fund that Mexico trip. Now, mind you, this is the reason why I started to do the whole method of tracking my expenses week by week, because I don't have this money for Mexico, right? Like, this was something that we ended up deciding that we were going to do in a span of like 2 months, 3 months. It was like a thought, and then we decided, okay, we're definitely going to do this. But we were not actively saving to fund this Mexico trip. Now, one of my goals in 2024 is that I'm not, like, I guess being, and I'm trying to figure out the right word, but I'm trying to not be spontaneous when it comes to funding certain things. An example that I'll give, that literally just happened yesterday. I had a medical procedure and the deductible was $500. I have that money, but I did not have the money funded in like a specific cash envelope or anything like that. So that meant that I had to, actively just spend that money. But if I would have had a cash envelope set aside, an example for this year, my goal for the medical cash envelope is to have $2,000. I could have just easily pulled that money from that cash envelope. So, and again, I also want to mention here, apologies if this is a little bit like rambling, because this is the first time that I'm doing a December or a paycheck closeout video. So hopefully these get better as the year goes by. But long story short, the goal this year is to try to have these things planned out so that I am actively saving for these items throughout the year. So the whole purpose of the paycheck by the budget by paycheck method is that you get your income, you start planning how much it's going to be for your bills, which are your fixed expenses. Then you have your cash envelopes. In this case, the only things that I add in my cash envelopes are groceries and animals, but I also have my sinking funds in actual cash envelopes, but I don't add them here. I separate that because this is something that I'm going to continuously save. And these are the ones that I'm actively going to be spending on a monthly basis. And then you also have an extra debt section. So in this case, I put my medical, although I ended up not spending anything for my medical. And then extra savings, which I knew I was already planning to save for Mexico, but I did not. Then, as you get to the bottom, everything that you calculate from the beginning of your income to the expenses should cancel out to zero, right? So the whole purpose is that you are trying to track every single dollar and that every single dollar has a purpose in your finances. So in this case, I was able to cancel this out all the way to zero. And then we continue the process again for the next paycheck. Now, I want to show you guys the full closeout, and I ended up printing out this template that I have, and I will also make sure to link that template in case if you are interested in following along. But let me go ahead and show you guys this. Move this out here. So this is what we have for the month of December. My monthly income as a family household, so this includes my husband's and my income, this ended up being $12,507. Now, I do also want to mention that I also have my own company, and so I don't pay myself from my own company. In fact, I use my business account to be able to fund things separately if they are business eligible expenses. And there's a whole video that you guys can do, which is the reason why a lot of people suggest that you start a business and actually fund a business account, because there are a lot of benefits to having a business under your name, which is being able to buy a vehicle, being able to go out to eat, go out and travel. And this includes going out with your family, but making sure that it is a business eligible expense. So if you are interested in that, let me know in the comments. But this does not include my business income. So there are things from there that we do also spend on, which has actively diminished some of the expenses that we have here. So fixed expenses, these are all the ones that we have. And you'll see that I have a budgeted column. So in this case, my fixed expenses were supposed to be 843, but you'll see here that some of these were actually a little bit more or a little bit less. And so my fixed expenses were 815 and 65 cents. Now, if I go to my variables, you'll see here that this is the reason why I started to do this. This was just in December, which means January will hopefully be a little bit better. But the variable expenses is the area that I always struggle with. In example, groceries. I budgeted $300 for the entire month. Mind you, maybe for a family of 3, that might not be the best budget, but I'm considering groceries just groceries and not anything for home supplies. So I just wanted to mention that. And we ended up spending $860 for the month of December. Now, I will add a little note there that I ended up giving some of this money to my mom because she did take care of my toddler in the month of December when she was out on Christmas break. And right before we went to Mexico, I did give her some money for groceries and for daycare expenses paid to her from my groceries fund. So that is a little note that I want to add there. But this is a good example of why you want to fund these cash envelopes, but also be realistic about what you have for your expenses. So another note that I'll add here is that this is the very first time that I've had cash envelopes in a long time. I think I mentioned in my 2024 planners video that I started this back in like 2017, 18, and this is another time that I'm trying to do this with my family. Previously in the past I did that on my own, and then it was kind of like, okay, what can I try to make differently? I did pay down a lot of debt that I had accumulated when I was a single person, but this is the reason why I wanted to do this again. I want to start increasing not only our savings account, but our retirement accounts, and also pay off a lot of the agricultural equipment that we have under our names, and also be able to fund the barn that I really want to get. So to finish this off, I do also have the debt that we did pay. I do include our mortgage in the debt, trying to get that right. I do include the mortgage in the debt section, but then you can see here that I do have a section for extra debt payments, which I ended up paying about $14.15 in extra debt payments. So not too bad, but when you have an income of $12,000 to $16,000 a month, and really your expenses are around $6,000, $7,000, you technically should be saving the rest or paying off debt with the rest. So that is the goal that I have for January, and hopefully we'll be able to meet it. So this is what I wanted to show you guys at the end. My income here, the 12,500, and then the expenses that we had in the month of December was 11,000, around 650. That did also include the Mexico trip that we were able to fund, and we were able to get about $1,500 for that trip. And then we also paid down a lot of the debt from this section, which includes the monthly bills, but then also the extra debt payments of the $1,400. So this was the closeout for December. Um, like I said, hopefully we'll be able to give you guys a more thorough review with the budget by Paycheck workbook. And then also, I wanted to show you guys that I did do a binder last year, and I can't remember if I showed this or not. I think I did in one of my previous videos, but I have all of my templates here, my monthly expenses. Oh, I did not show you guys that, but let me show that really quick. When I was doing all of these worksheets, and they are messy, as you can see here, like there were some things that I had to go back in and like change because it didn't work with the budget. And then I did use this section to basically do my cash envelope stuffing. But the very last page, or should I say the first page, is this. I write down all of the expenses that I have, and then I basically highlight it once I have paid it. But everything is still tracked in my weekly worksheets for the budget by Paycheck worksheets. So I wanted to mention that. But this is the binder where I keep my templates, so my monthly budget templates, And then I do also have this finance checklist that kind of gives you like, what you should be reviewing on a weekly basis or on a daily basis. And then I do also have, this was for January. I do also have a debt tracker section. And so this is my loan for the tractor. And you can see here that I'm tracking when I'm paying it off and how far I've gotten through these things. And you'll see here that I do have, haven't updated this one, but I do have like my Amex card. This is for my business. You'll see here that I'm basically, I want to say like 500 left for me to pay off that account, which will actually be finished by this month. Yay, so excited. And then I do also have a savings section where I'm going to be tracking the following challenges this year, which is the $5 savings challenge, 5,000 savings challenge, the 15,000 savings challenge, and this is done in 52 weeks, and then the 52-week money saving challenge. So as you can see from my income and expenses, I'm challenging myself to save more money this year. And this is a great way to get involved in saving your money, but treating it like an expense so that it is kind of like, or it feels that it's required from your end to be able to do that. And then I do also have the challenges for the month. So I'm doing a January challenge, and my word is TDECU because I'm trying to tackle my TDECU credit card. And this is going to be $53 that I'll save, which is not a lot, but something is something. And then I do have at the very end my payroll of when I get paid, and then different trackers and templates in my binder. So I do have like the Christmas challenge, a little savings, but like planners. So this is the finances binder that I'm going to be using in conjunction with the TBM BBP, which is kind of like the little acronym that they use. So yeah, what do you guys think? This is still fairly new to me, so I hope you liked it. But I will see you guys in about a month, about 3-4 more weeks to be able to do the January closeout. And that one will include a cash stuffing section. All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.